To make this quick video about correcting your children's nationality, why it's important right now to do that. Uh, well, they've already changed up the applications for the past. Well, we know that, and the advantage of when you fill out the application, that when you get to the part of the parents, which you're the parent, it's going to ask for what the citizenship of that parent is, and you're going to be checking off no for U.S. citizens. You're going to check that off. So if you've already done your passport as a national and got your passport back and you got your authenticated copy or certified copy of that application, then you do the children's application, you order a certified copy. Now you have a two certified proofs, or it depends on how many children you have, could be more than two, that you have been claiming yourself to be an American national. You have that. And if you're doing the children before they turn 18, they're going to be already on the record as that. So they're not going to fall into the same traps as you have fell into, because now you're educating them. You have to make sure that you're doing these children's passport and doing it properly. A lot of people are going to other places to get it done because it's free, it's on the website, all of this stuff. They're giving y'all free information. Remember, you get what you pay for. When people are offering you free stuff, you're getting what you pay for. Give nothing, you get nothing. Yes, it costs to do my process. But my process is one of the only processes that I've seen where you're getting results when people are getting pulled over, and other results that I won't. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I think I went out there a little bit. Um, Hang on, let me check. All right, let me see. I can make sure y'all can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. You know, I don't just want to be talking and y'all can't hear me. Let's see. Live chats are visible. All right. Just okay. Thank you. 12 USC section 411. Thank you for that. Yeah. Y'all going to these courtrooms and they trying to make you a U.S. citizen. You have to give your notice of appearance right off the bat that you're not a U.S. citizen. You're not that all caps. You know, and there's a way to assert that you're not the all caps softly without using some of these methods I see on these YouTube channels. The only thing I do is I put in who I am, what my proper name is, but not this, and I put the all caps, not this, and right at the end of that name, I put ins legis. And I address that in my paperwork. If they say, Akeem, Barbara, all caps, or Barbara Akeem, all caps, I make sure that they know that that's a civilly dead entity that they're talking about. And as soon as I say I have not been adjudged or adjudicated or determined, there's not a court order saying that I'm civilly dead, all of a sudden cases start getting moved. They just postponing cases. Sometimes they disappear. You have to address that. And see, when you go into these situations, what's going to happen, right? They're going to ignore and act like what you put on that paper doesn't mean anything. And if you bring it up, they'll try to blow it off. Trust me. When they're trying to blow it off, that means it means something for you. It's your freedom. See, they only want to talk about the things that benefit them in court or any other proceeding. They only want to talk about what gives them power, not what gives you power. So, what do? When they try to sidetrack you, you keep going back to what gives you power. Don't let them push you over and ignore that. Tell them, hey, hey, court has no jurisdiction here. Simply keep stating that. I can't see. I don't understand what's going on because the court hasn't shown me how they have jurisdiction to even have me here or have this conversation calmly and politely, over and over and over like a broken record. But back to the children's nationality. You guys need to be correcting these children's nationality ASAP. Pretty soon, within the next week or two, I have already determined that the affidavit needs to change based off the new application. You know, if listen, if y'all listening to people and they ain't not evolving and growing in the information, and they're still talking about the same thing they were talking about 10 years ago, that means that they haven't grown and they haven't changed along with this matrix. Neo had to get stronger every time they did a upgrade. He had to adjust. In this system, upgrades, they change, they do things. Right now, we're dealing with the mandatory vaccination issue, right? And to me, that's not really a big issue. Why? Because you have religious exemption. Oh, they don't give me a religious exemption. Well, I haven't dealt with anybody yet that hasn't been able to get it. Did it take a while to get it? Did it take some time? Did they take a long time evaluating their applications? Yes. Why? Because they're going to take that affidavit, they're going to look at it, and they're going to send it to their lawyers, and they're going to try to see how they can get around it. But they can't. Can't get around the Constitution. The Constitution, until they get rid of that and change that, there's no getting around that. And you have to put that in their face. Say, listen, this is what the Constitution say. I don't care what y'all talking about. The Constitution says this. I have right to religious freedoms. I have right to my liberties and the pursuit of happiness. And anything y'all trying to make me do or not do that's not in contrary to my pursuit of happiness, you're violating my rights that's protected by the Constitution. I'm heading to the office. I got to get some work done. Get those children's nationalities corrected on the record ASAP. Before the year is out, get it done. Stop procrastinating. If you haven't done yours, you need to get yours done. Because come 2022, they're going to ramp this thing up. They're not done. They're not done trying to keep you from being who you really are. That's another thing. Do you know who you are? Are you aware of who you are? Who you really are? That you're a divine manifestation of God, therefore you are God? I know some of y'all don't want to say I'm God, or you're ashamed to say I'm God in front of your peoples because they got their religious ideologies, they got their belief systems they've been pumping out at you since the day you came into this world that they want you to hold on to. You're going to have to make a choice. What you going to hold on to? Them old dead ideas is not working for anyone. It's not working. There's no deliverance there. The only deliverance you got is going within yourself and coming to know the truth about yourself. Looking in the mirror. Looking into the depths of your consciousness and figuring out who you are and what you want to represent now. Who you want to be now. We're not talking about a future. We're talking about right now. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to be? How do you want to present yourself? I know I've been laying back for some weeks now. I got some things off the table. Now it's time to let loose. Let the floodgates out for y'all. Give y'all this freedom. Now, let me correct something. I'm not giving y'all any freedom. I'm just showing you where freedom is. I'm pointing y'all in the direction. You give yourself freedom by the actions you take. You have all of the power to give yourself freedom. if you just listen to the call, listen to that quiet voice that tell you to move, listen to that quiet voice that tell you to get up and write down those ideas of how you're going to start a new business, how you're going to improve your relationships, not just with other people, how you're going to improve the relationship with yourself. Because that's the relationship you really need to be working on. Once you improve the relationship with yourself, all the other relationships just going to fall in line. They're just going to connect. If you have a good relationship, a good loving relationship with yourself, all of your other relationships will automatically become good, loving relationships. Why? Because the energy you're putting out for yourself will attract the energy, that same energy that you're working on for yourself. I tell you guys to go do these processes, go do this, take care of that, take care of that. But that's processes. Those are things you're doing physically. But the real work is that spiritual work, that mind work, that consciousness work, knowing that you are God in the flesh. You are the only begotten son or daughter of God. See, the religious leaders, the theologians, all of these so-called popes, priests, they have misguided y'all and told you that y'all looking for some Christ to come back and he's to fix everything. No, he showed you how to fix it for yourself. He told his disciples they would do greater. All they had to do was abide and believe in him and have the Christ consciousness reside in them. If you believe in me, I in you and you in me become one. You become one with the Father, the Christ consciousness. You become one with your nationality. I told y'all on my show Tuesday that Father, Latin, one of the meanings of Father was nationality, national. Who knew that? But that's why you have to look up these words, not just in English dictionaries. You got to look in the Latin versions and other languages. Because remember, English is a new language to the planet. English is probably one of the worst languages to speak because the words, you can have one word have several different meanings, and they have deliberately changed the meanings of words to fit the narrative of the agenda that they want to promote. Bleached. People with melanin in their skin. And we're actually walking around calling ourselves these things that they made up for us to believe in. We're actually saying, oh, that black person. That's not a nationality. That's not you. That's not you calling what you were divinely created to be. None of that's truth. You have to operate in truth. And that is what the scriptures are talking about, the comforter. Truth is a comforter. When you have the truth and you're operating truth, yeah, when you're operating in falsehood, it doesn't comfort the lie. Because truth, when it comes into play, it gets rid of the lie. The lie has to leave. The darkness has to move on. But once you accept the truth, believe in the truth, operate in the truth, it becomes a comforter because you know that you're operating on one of the highest frequencies possible outside of love. Well, love is truth in itself, too. Peace to everybody that's on there. Well, we got 21 people live this morning. I need to be doing, I keep saying I'm going to do a lot more of these, do a lot more. You know what I do? I let all of these other so-called, whatever, they come out and teach their stuff, whatever. Then the spirit will just move me to just do a video. And that's how I do it. Now, if it moves me to do them every day, I'll do it. If it moves me to do it once a week, I'll do it. Once a month, that's what I do. That's what I listen to. I listen to the Father, the consciousness, the higher consciousness of my mind that moves me in the direction to give y'all a message. And the message this morning is get those children's nationalities corrected. Get on it. Because if you haven't noticed, they're coming for the children with all of these so-called mandates. A mandate is not a law. Laws are only made one way. How you find out how laws are made, you go to your state and you read up on how the General Assemblies and how they make laws. They can't just come out and say, you got to do this or else. And the only reason why they're intimidating most of people and most people fall in line because they don't even know their rights. They spent years miseducating you in school. You know, how do they miseducate you in school? The teachers started off telling you how to walk down the hallway, when to speak, when to go to the bathroom. So the children are already programmed to just listen to words and not actual law. How can someone make you do something you don't want to do, especially without due process, without you having a word or say in that? Due process is afforded to everyone. Listen, they give due process to animals. Do y'all realize that right now, animals have more rights than you do? The way they're acting right now? You see? They have reduced people down lower than animals, the way they treat them. People have more sympathy and compassion for animals than they have for their own fellow man. You see? All right, so just to reiterate, when you change your children's nationality, or not change it, they already have their nationality. When you correct their nationality on the record, you're also helping yourself because now you have more than one piece of evidence that shows that you're operating as a national. More than one. They got their application because you're the parent. You're checking off no for U.S. citizen, and you're submitting an affidavit with that. So there y'all have it. Go correct those nationalities. One last note. For all you people who are dealing with traffic tickets and stuff like that, those little BS cases, when did you ask these people for discovery? Just by simply asking for discovery will change the trajectory of a case. Why do I say that? When you get pulled over, it's a cop. He pulls you over, he writes you a ticket. Let's say it's speeding, right? He's the only so-called witness. And the only evidence they're going to rely on is his testimony and what he writes up. Now, here's the problem with that. He's a biased witness at that. He works for the state, the very agency that's trying to convict you. So that's a biased witness. He can never have an objective view of you. Because he stopped you, he wrote the ticket, he said you were guilty, and he's on his ticket, he's telling you when you got to come to court based on his schedule. Right there, that's not due process because the clerk of court is the only one authorized, or a judge is authorized to order the clerk of court to order you or summons you to court. So how does a cop get to summons you to court? That's a violation of due process. So when you do your discovery request, you're going to be asking for the warrant that he's supposed to have before he talks to you, the summons that was written up and authorized by the clerk of court for you to come to court, and any other evidence that he's using. Maybe he's used a radar gun or whatever you call that thing. You want You want the call he made into dispatch, inquiring about you. You want that too. Why you want the calls that he made into dispatch? Isn't that him investigating you, surveilling you without your permission, without a warrant? He's looking into you to check up to see if you got any other problems. Oh yeah, of course they said, well, it was probable cause. But the Constitution says, yeah, probable cause must be presented and sworn on under oath and affirmation. Then a warrant is issued to go and talk to you or communicate with you. No officer has the right to just come up and just start asking you questions just because he wants to. He doesn't have a right to do that. He needs your permission. And I keep all of the cases, most of them are not giving you due process. Remember, I'm not a lawyer, but I read the law. Go read it for yourself. Every time I ask for discovery, and I ask for specific discovery, court date changes. Why? Because they can't produce that stuff that I'm asking for. If the only testimony is that officer's testimony, then that's not enough. You need someone else to corroborate that does not have an interest in convicting you. You have a right to a fair trial. Y'all hear me? Y'all have a right to a fair trial. So how is that a fair trial when you got the officer holding all positions? He's the gatekeeper. He writes the violation, and he tries to convict you, and he tell you to come to court. That's why we have a constitution, separation of powers. That's why you have a clerk of court, separation of powers. That's why you have a judge, separation of powers. Okay? And you got this officer holding all of those positions. And what happens when you go to court? The prosecutor, DA, whatever you want to call it, he reads up all, oh, you did this, you did that, and the prosecutor wasn't there to witness that. He's going up with the officer saying, what you did say. We have to wake up and start really looking at what we really have in front of us. Do we really have a case? No, they're not. They only become real by the energy you put into it and how you fight it. Too many of y'all are coming in. I'm dealing with stuff right now. Oh, file a UCC. When has a UCC ever gotten rid of a traffic ticket? Somebody tell me that. Listen, the only way you're going to win these battles is read their rules and use their rules against them. That's it. Know the game. Now, back to the traffic ticket. Now, he surveilling you while you're on the road using some device to catch you speeding. When did he have a warrant to surveil you specifically? Identifying your name, your vehicle. Oh, I think this guy's going to be speeding at this time, so can I get a warrant to check him out? They need a warrant, y'all. They need a warrant. So I'm saying, I can't read the chat. Plus I'm driving. I'm traveling. Anyway, y'all, that's it. Get our discovery out there. Ask them people for proof. Remember, the burden of proof is on the state to prove that you're guilty. You are innocent until proven guilty. It's their job to prove you guilty, not your job to prove yourself guilty. All right? All right, peace.